I think that we'll kick stuff off. So yeah, for everyone who's just joined, great to see you. Really appreciate you jumping on the webinar. So my name's Eva. If you've never spoken with me so far, looking forward to getting into the weeds of pickup and delivery with our very own Daniel Logan, Chief Laundry Officer. So really excited to have Daniel with us here. He's been with us for quite some time now, and we'll be able to go into sort of all things pickup and delivery. So in terms of like kicking off, it would be great for you, Daniel, if you would just like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your laundry journey and Columbia Pike Laundry specifically as well.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all in the chat. Augusta, my wife's a Hokie, so go Hokies. So we're family, right? Anyway, Columbia Pike Laundry. My wife and I, the Hokie, right? We bought it back in 2018. It was is a very small laundromat here in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. As stated, it was for the most part self-service only, about 700 square feet, very small, tiny, kind of micro laundromat. Mm-hmm. And I kind of immediately saw the opportunity, even before we bought it, for wash, dry, fold. And so kind of in those, months leading up to us closing on the laundromat, we, started reaching out to software companies, because I knew that, in order for us to do it the right way, right, to stand up that wash, dry, fold, that we would need, a software to be able to, aid us in doing that. Right. And so we settled on CleanCloud. That, kind of demoed, everybody who was out there at the time, and, settled on CleanCloud. It kind of offered us the best, features for what we needed to do. And then there was also like some room to grow as well, things that, we weren't ready for at the time, pickup and delivery, not necessarily ready for at the time, but we knew that there was that pickup and delivery component that, we can kind of grow into. And I'd say that, that's been a mantra, as we've grown, right, is, as we take that next step up, CleanCloud has already like been there with the features, right, so that we can kind of step into those new, roles and such. So kind of getting back to, our story, a year or so in, actually maybe it was a little bit less than that, 6 to 8 months or so in, decided kind of to start the pickup and delivery as well. And, we kind of, been building from there,
The rest is history. Yeah.
The rest is history.
So in that case, what made you decide to launch that pickup and delivery service then that has been giving you all this growth?
Right. So, funny story, right? So, we were doing the wash, dry, fold, of course, and, kind of doing a little bit of marketing there. We're kind of getting to marketing maybe a little bit later as well, but we're doing some marketing, right? And kind of, one day out of the blue, we got a call, from it was like a local spa, nearby, right? And they were like, yeah, I see that you guys do, the laundry service or whatever. We're looking to have laundry service done. And like, but we need you to like pick it up and deliver it. And like, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, like, of course. Yeah, we do that. Right. Right. We do that all the time. Right. And so essentially kind of like accidentally stumbled upon, pick up and delivery. Like I said, like, I had thoughts that we would want to maybe grow into it. But, with that essentially commercial account, which is kind of like what a lot of us are after, right? It kind of fell into our lap and served as a spark to get us going with pickup and delivery.
So it's very much a case of you sort of demanding the market, and you had that, I guess, like lucky shot, and then you sort of built it from there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that's like a super interesting way of going into it. So I guess for everyone watching, you just need that one opportunity to make you see, what's going to really work out there. Which leads me on to my next question. So was there any, I know that you just mentioned that you kind of fell into that, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess getting that second account or that
Yeah,
second pick and delivery order,
yeah.
were there any specific tools that you used to promote the service when you decided that you wanted to really go for it?
Yep. So, in terms of kind of promoting and marketing and those sorts of things, it was the same channels that we were using
Hmm.
for, wash, dry, fold, right? It was just, letting folks know that we also do the pickup and delivery piece of it.
Hmm.
Tools like, Google PPC, Meta PPC, now kind of we've graduated into kind of text and email automated campaigns, kind of thing. So we kind of use a number of different tools. I'll say like website, kind of maybe goes without saying, right? Having a solid website and kind of getting some SEO built into it. I think you guys do have a tool that you allow your operators to build websites. So could be a good start at, kind of getting in there and making that happen.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I know that, the website tool is something that is definitely, it's a fantastic tool. I mean,
Hmm.
I even seeing when they first released it, I was super impressed. I'm always impressed with our developers, and I think I'm always impressed with the fact that they take all of our customer feedback on board so highly. And I'm sure, as you know, you can put
That's
in
right.
requests, and if you think that there's something that's really going to add value to you and I guess the rest of the customer base, then it's definitely something that we look into.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in terms of the actual like specific pickup and delivery journey that you've been on, if you'll pardon the pun, in terms of where you were when you first started, like route wise, and then
Hmm.
compared to now, so how's that journey kind of gone for you?
Yeah. It's been quite the journey. And so, I'm kind of a real hands-on kind of operator, right? I like to
Mhm.
kind of be in there in the weeds and have my sleeves rolled up and, making it happen. So, I was our first driver, right? I talked about the spa that we had, right?
Mhm.
We I think we did pickups for them back then. It was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So like I was, that driver, making that happen, right? And
Mhm.
then any other, orders that we would have coming in, I would just kind of pick those up along the way. And so what I'd say, I mean, we can kind of really get into the weeds of this, but I'm trying to summarize it or whatever, right? But essentially, what we did was like I didn't really know where the volume was going to come from. I didn't know where the orders were going to come from, right? So
Mhm.
initially I drew with a geofencing, I drew just like a huge, you know, boundary, right, radius around our store, and had a like a longer time window, like a 4-hour time window, right?
Mhm.
And just like allowed those pickups to come in, right? It was, steadily, slowly but surely, more orders would come in, right? And then, I just let that run, right? And of course, like I said, I was doing all the pickups and deliveries and such. And then I just kind of waited, right? I waited, 3 or 4 months to kind of see where that volume was coming from. And then once I kind of plotted it on a map, that kind of helped me understand, okay, all right, so these orders are coming from, northeast and southwest, right? And right. And so then what I did was I then split my route in half, right? So
Mhm.
instead of having then the one big route, now I split it in half and I have two that I serve for, 2-hour windows, right? Two-hour windows, right? Same four
Mhm.
hours that I was driving, but kind of separated in that way. And that is how we sort of developed to get to a point to now where we're at like 9 different routes and 3-4 drivers going out at the same time, et cetera. But it was kind of like put it out there, get some data in, analyze the data, split the route accordingly, and kind of improve the customer experience because now they get a shorter window and kind of improve our efficiency a little bit. So that was kind of the path and just got kind of the general, I guess, mantra for us as we kind of expanded our routes.
Great. So it's almost like you've done like quite a lot of experimenting,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
yeah, you've kind of gone. It's really impressive actually because you've gone all the way through, as you said, doing your own driving. I think
Hmm.
when we even first met, I was asking about your fleet, and you were like, actually, my fleet was just me, and then
Right.
now you actually have that entire fleet of like 4 drivers as well. 9 different routes as well to service. So
That's
but you
right.
can see there's no rest, I suppose, as you said, you're very hands on.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
Our
always
first, I
great.
always joke like our first delivery vehicle was like my wife's 2005 Acura TSX. So I was loading that thing up, making pickups and deliveries, and so like, again, fast forward to today, like we have like the different vans with the wraps and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And so that kind of leads me on to my next question. You've just given me, really great insight onto, the, I guess, pickup and delivery journey for the business. But in
Mhm.
terms of like, was there any like challenges that you faced when you first launched?
Let's see, challenges. I would say the biggest challenge was probably just like getting our service out there and kind of like understanding what works, and what doesn't work.
Hmm.
Right. I'll start with what doesn't work. Like, I remember spending time putting flyers on doors,
Hmm.
to advertise our pickup and delivery service. And yeah, that, very little return on those hours spent, right?
Hmm.
Right. I remember like, door to door. I remember putting flyers on cars, right? Like I have I'm a snowboarder, right? David kind of
Oh,
knows that, right?
cool.
I'm a snowboarder. So like in the non-winter months where there's not snow on the ground, I have a one wheel and like my little electric skateboard that I kind of like use to scratch the itch, when I can't be on the mountain. And so I would just be like, riding around on my one wheel, popping, flyers on cars and doing the thing, right? So
I
so
would
so it
love
was
to do that.
right, right. I guess it wasn't a complete waste of time. I got a little bit of exercise out of it,
Yeah.
and a little bit of thrill, right? But in terms of business, not so much. Yep. But what I would say, what did work. One was our vans, right? When we finally did decide to kind of you know invest in vans and kind of get those wrapped. That was one of the things that did kind of help us overcome that challenge of awareness, really. I'm involved in some of the kind of like local small business meetups or whatever. And everybody's always like, hey, yeah, we always see your vans buzzing around, right? So like they kind of almost know us before they know us, right?
Yeah.
So that's been a cool help.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is yeah. I mean, it's always good to be aware, and I guess in people's subconscious as well. So,
Hmm.
how long did it take you in your like pickup and delivery journey for you to decide that what, now's the time, I'm ready to invest in the vans, I've seen the returns? Yeah, like how long did that take you, would you say?
That's right. It was probably in like the 9 to 12 month range.
Hmm.
That really, and even that, it was like even a little bit too soon, but I wanted to do it just like kind of again, just like invested in the business, right?
Hmm.
Our routes really hadn't grown to the point to where it's like we needed it,
Hmm.
but we went ahead and made that investment, and again, like it helped on the marketing side with the awareness. So it kind of killed two birds with the same stone.
Hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. So, for anyone listening, 9 to 12 months, sometimes you just got to give things a shot, right? So, yeah.
That's right. And I was, maybe, right. One of the things that I would say is like, like give yourself time. Don't like, right. Like I said, like it took us 9 to 12 months before I bought a van. Had I bought the van in month one, right, that would have been additional pressure of like, I got this, $400, van payment and $200 in insurance and gas. And well, I guess you have gas anyway, but right. You would have that monkey on your back that, I need to make the money to support this purchase that we made. Right. So give yourself time, right? Do what you can to give yourself time to allow the service to build up, because like, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's not you turn it on and the next day you got 20 orders, right? It doesn't happen like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I speak to people like day in, day out. Hopefully, some of them have joined this call. But something that I will always tell them is that, you can't just, as you just said, turn on a switch and get, thousands of orders in pickup and delivery a month. It's like it comes in like phases, and
exactly,
it's actually a much smarter way of doing it, which is like what you did, testing the market, lower sort of capital investment, not stressing about those car repayments, and then when you see that demand, you know that there's going to be the return on it. So that's super interesting for everyone listening. But yeah, and so at that time when you decided to launch the pickup and delivery, I know that you said that it was you were the original going out on those drop-offs and pickups. Was there any other like staffing resources that you had to move around to accommodate the demand, or how did that work?
So not initially, right, because we had already stood up the wash, dry, fold ahead, before we did the pickup and delivery. And so of course, like, we had to do that to make sure that we could actually, right, on the supply side of making sure that we can get the laundry done, right, handle that part first. And we kind of follow the same mantra with that as well. With like, we had one employee when we first bought it, and like, I was the second employee, and so right, and so like, we would just kind of trade off, and then hiring then someone to replace me as the second attendant, right, while I drive and also work my full-time job, crazy times, right.
Yeah.
And then I was the driver, right, until I got it to a point to where, like, hey, this is actually a thing, right, like, pick up and like, we can make something happen here, right. We were kind of steadily seeing growth in our routes and everything. And then it was like, okay, I hired another driver to just like split the routes, right. So like, you go south kind of deal. Right, same 4-hour window, but kind of being able to then kind of kill two birds with the same stone. And then right, as we continue to see growth, and it was like, okay, let me hire another driver, right. Now maybe I can take a step back and manage everything, right. So it was kind of really organic and slow, and I won't say slow, but like kind of methodical, right. Like, it was very intentional, and not taking on kind of like more risk than what we were comfortable taking too soon,
Absolutely. I think that's probably something that's going to resonate with a lot of people, because maybe if there's some pressure that you have to do everything right away, and you have to have this top spec massive laundromat, and you have to have a massive fleet, but actually taking your time with it seems like it's a much more sustainable business decision. And it's transpiring for you, isn't it, Daniel? Otherwise you wouldn't be here on this webinar with me, our resident chief laundry officer.
There you go.
Awesome. So then, I guess, like, what role would you say that CleanCloud did, and maybe even does, play in, your pickup and delivery service?
Yeah. Yep. So, I say, like, we kind of like use CleanCloud to like the fullest extent, like everything there is, we use, right. What I would say with the only thing we don't use is kind of like the plant mode deal, just because we don't perform like our dry clean. We do offer dry cleaning, but we kind of outsource it. So like literally everything, right? Driver app, kind of planning out routes on the route planner, like literally everything. We even utilize kind of like on the more advanced level of like the API, right? Like being able to tap into the API and, interact with the system in that way. So yeah, and I kind of said it a bit earlier with, right before we were ready to take that, I guess I would say is like each time we were ready to take the next step, the software was already there and had the features that we needed at that next step. So that's been really cool. To kind of like have that peace of mind, I would say, and that, knowing that as you grow your business, the software can keep up.
Of course. And I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying about like, yeah, taking it slow, and then when you're ready, it's already there. And again, it's something that, we speak about. We're here for, not just for the short term. A lot of people speak to us and they say, I've got this challenge or I want to offer this service. And it's like, great, we can do that. But also as you're trying to grow or whatever the goals are for the business, 9 times out of 10, the feature's already going to be there. So, I mean, it's great to hear that, that's your experience. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And so I think that, do you have, an experience of using DoorDash as well? Or was it just always your own drivers or yourself?
No, we definitely use DoorDash now. And so the way that we utilize it is more so like to supplement our fleet, right? Since we already kind of have, the drivers and the vans and the routes and kind of all that stuff, kind of mapped out and the foundation is already laid for that. We favor our drivers, right? Just because of the level of service that we can give to the customers. And right, I always kind of use the friendly neighborhood milkman. Right? I kind of like make our drivers, that milkman kind of situation. But we use DoorDash to supplement, right? So like our drivers, we have a morning window, 8 to noon, and then an evening window that's like 4 to 7. But like in the middle of the day, right? If you absolutely needed a pickup, in the middle of the day, you can get it. We can do it via DoorDash. Or if, we have a limit to how many stops can be booked within each route within each hour window, I guess you can call it. And so like if a particular time slot is all booked up, then you can utilize DoorDash to be able to support you and get that pickup or delivery. And then the second way that we use it is more exploratory. Right. So like looking at new areas that we might want to service, right? Like looking at, pushing the bounds of our reach, right? To see if, hey, is there like, I think we can get some orders out here. Let me go ahead and put a marketing campaign together to target that area. And we created a DoorDash only route for that to be able to service it.
Okay, great. So it's like you've kind of, there's 2 like main benefits, I guess, of just expanding, your service time. Just interestingly, you were talking about your stops per like hour window. How many stops do you have per hour? A bit more of a technical question.
Yep. So on like at the maximum, we're at probably 5 or 6 stops per hour. And so like we try to keep the right. I try to get the windows as small as we can. I'm sorry. I guess you call it routes, right? Get the routes as small as I can, so that we can then make that area like more dense. So the small, right. Rewinding back to when we had the one big route with the 4-hour window, right? We aren't able to like really get as much. Let's call it. We can say 15 stops in that whole 4 hours because it's such a big window, right? But the smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller I get those routes, the more dense I can, the more stops I can have on that smaller area, and so that's why we kind of like, again, it's still monitoring, even now to this day, right? It's still monitoring and seeing, hey, how can I split our routes so that we can make those routes even more dense to pick up more orders within that same time frame.
So like building efficiency gains, I guess, like using different tools that you've got available.
That's right.
Awesome. So currently you're still using a mix of DoorDash in your fleet. So that's great. Fantastic. So in terms of, you've spoken quite a lot about like growth and guest development, your journey up to this point. So, what would you say your main, I guess, if you have any pickup and delivery milestones that you would like to reach in, say that we're having another call this time next year, is there anything in particular that you'd like to achieve by that point?
That's a good one. I wouldn't say, pickup and delivery focused. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess kind of on the marketing side, kind of has, kind of marketing and business, general business goals or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, mostly around like, efficiency and kind of systems and kind of really dialing our systems in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no major, I guess, pickup and delivery specific goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just like general like growth
Hmm.
in all sorts of ways.
Yep.
Um, that's super exciting. So that's, up to this point, for the last like 6 years. So what would you say is your like, I guess like your top, let's say your top three pieces of advice to anyone who is
Hmm.
thinking about launching a pickup and delivery service?
Yeah. One for sure I would say is, one bit of advice I would say is, put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? Right. With everything that you do, right? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I was just checking. I've still got you there. Nice.
Okay. Yep. One is, put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? So like, build your business, build your service from their perspective, backwards from there.
Mm-hmm.
Is a huge one. Uh, I would say two is, put you roll your sleeves up and do the work, right? You be a driver, you be a wash drop folder, get in there and actually do what you're going to be hiring somebody to do, right? Just so that you can understand, right? A driver might say nowadays, right? Driver might say, "Oh, well, it's impossible to get 6 stops in this hour window," and I'm like, right? I've done it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've done it, so I know it's possible. So like, what are you doing? Do I need to ride along with you to kind of show you, right, find some efficiencies there or whatever? Like you can kind of like catch those, like, right. You're not going to be able to kind of pull anything on me, right? Because I've done your
No.
job, right? I built, I wrote the manual for it, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So I said, put yourself in the customer's shoes, put yourself in your driver's shoes, right? And then, I kind of alluded to this earlier, like, do what you need to do to give yourself the time for the business to grow, right?
Mhm.
For the to have the time for orders to come in and for the marketing to pick up, right? It's not a
Mhm.
switch, but kind of like kind of steadily, slowly but surely, like it'll kind of pick up if you have the right demographics and such.
Mhm. Okay,
Yep.
awesome. So just to go back to, we can go through all of those points. So putting yourself in your customer's shoes. So what's something that you've learned from your customer base that
Hmm.
you have maybe been able to implement from you launching this service?
Yep. So one thing I would say is one of the things that I kind of drive toward is trying to make sure that we can have like a customer can schedule a pickup on any of our routes. Well, I guess now DoorDash is kind of right with our drivers within 24 hours, right? Like right, yeah, like if I'm at the point to where I want to place an order, right, which is all we're after, right, and I can't get a pickup for 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, right, I'm here, I'm ready to plug it in, and right, so I'm constantly kind of monitoring the routes, kind of even like using the app as a customer
Mhm.
to go in and say like, oh hey, oh yeah, okay, we're cool, right? And I would change my address so that I can get on, figure out the other routes, right, to make sure that customers can get a pickup within 24 hours.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. I would say too is uh right, like as we are as we're like making the deliveries, ensuring that one of the things that I had had to call out as I right, like, so CleanCloud allows you to take a photo as you're doing pickups and deliveries via the driver app, right? And so like I'll spot check them every now and then, right? Just to kind of look at kind of the orders coming in, right? And I'll see that like our drivers have been placing orders at the door with doors that have screens that swing out. Right. And so the problem there is right from the driver's perspective, it's like I put the bag right in front of your door and like we're all good. Right. But then the customer has to like push the screen to push the door, the bag to get it out of the way. Right. So putting that in my driver's heads of like, hey, if there's a door that swings out, don't put the bag right in front of the door. Put it a little ways away so that they can get the door open so that they can get the bag, So that's kind of like a couple of those, like put yourself in the customer's shoes kind of situation.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's great to hear that you're using the, driver app, like photo functionality. Would you say that that's like, one of your favorite bits about the driver app, or is there something else about the driver app that you really like?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's the photos. Yeah,
yeah.
So right, like that. Like so, me being a more kind of hands-on kind of person. Like it was tough for me to like take those steps back, right? To be able to like, you've heard like work on the business, not in the business, right? But I like to work in it first, and so that was one of those things that gave me a little bit more comfort in taking a step back, because now I can look in and see all the pictures. I can, right. This is a topic for another call, but like, assigning orders to different washers and dryers and such, right. I like to be able to like almost see the entire breadcrumbs of like the entire order from pickup through wash, through dry, through fold, right, to delivery, and to be able to see all those things. So that has been like super helpful for me, right. And making me feel comfortable taking that step back so that I can work on the business, not necessarily in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving you that kind of more top level overview so you can see, how everything's like going. I mean, I always say to people that I guess that with CleanCloud, you could be on vacation in the Bahamas and you can still see how your business is doing.
True story. So
hopefully you wouldn't want to be, but sorry, carry on.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So true story, like several vacations that I've been in, like I've been, in Disney World with the kids, right? Like I put, kind of got them on a ride, or we're waiting in the line. I would field a call because I kind of have, I'm one of the backups on calls, even on vacation, right?
Yeah.
Business owners, no days off, right? Fielded a call in line at Disney World, right? And the customer was asking, "Hey, is my order ready?" And so I had my earbuds in. I went on my phone and saw that the order had been completed drying. Right, I had tapped in. The order's done, and I told her, I said, "Yeah, this order is done drying. It's just waiting to be folded. It should be ready in the next couple hours." Right, and so like that level of insight from Disney World, right, from the beach in Jamaica, another vacation, right, I was able to like give that level of information to that customer, like just like that, and it was so easy. And so yeah, I'm kind of grateful to be able to have that level of insights on orders quickly like that.
Yeah. And I guess that goes back to your first point of, your first bit of advice, which is put yourself in your customer's shoes. Like, I can only imagine as a customer, almost like, if you've ordered like food and you're like, where's my food? And it's like, oh, it's actually, it's going to be there with you in 20 minutes, and then as the customer, you're like, oh, okay, great. And then it arrives and everyone's happy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Amazing. Fab. So, I know something that I know I've mentioned the term chief laundry officer a few times. So for anyone, listening, so Daniel have started offering some consultancy. So I'm going to actually let Daniel introduce this himself. I'm sure he'll do a better job than me.
Yep. And so, it's just that, I realized, from talking to, laundry operators and such over the years, that I have a lot of kind of insights that I can kind of give to folks to hopefully kind of like speed up that learning curve, right? Having the experience in the software development space, being like intimately familiar with like the ins and outs, right, of the software and even competitors, right? Very intimate knowledge of all the above, and just kind of wanting to provide value to folks in the best way I can, right? We talked, before we hopped on, of like, one, being able to kind of like provide, my insights as a, laundry owner to the software companies, to, the dev team at CleanCloud, right? And so like almost like graduating from that into like actually, helping out laundry owners, get those systems together, like understanding, your unique circumstances and situations, and providing that help for you, right? A lot of times, which I'll say, like hop on the demo, check out the software, right, do those things. But sometimes you don't know the questions to ask if you haven't done it yet. Right. If you haven't done it before, you don't know the questions to ask. Right. And so, you go on a demo and say, oh yeah, it looks cool. Right. Yeah. That pretty much checks all the boxes. Right. And then you get, perhaps, stuck with the wrong software, that you don't realize that, oh, I can't do this and that. Right. Once it's real world, and now you're locked into a contract. I don't know if you guys do contracts, but maybe with competitors or whatever. Right. So I'm I guess I hope to, like I said, shorten the learning curve for you, and to help you guys not make, the wrong decisions. It's kind of something that, right, like just providing value. I like problem solving. I like, understanding you guys, use cases and all those things. So just looking to provide value in that way.
Of course. And yeah, just to decide, CleanCloud it's not contract based, so it's just a month-to-month service.
Awesome.
So
Right.
which I think is also good. How, all
I
these
agree.
features that we're releasing means that
I agree.
we have to keep releasing the absolute best features, because I guess our customers, we want them to stay with us, not because they have to, but because
That's
they
exactly my
want
thinking.
to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly my thinking. And that's the way that we kind of keep our customers as well. Like we don't do, with our B2B accounts, like we don't do contracts. It's like, we want to keep your business with the service that we provide. So I'm in that same thinking. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. So you've already said your sort of 3 top bits of like advice that you would give to other laundromat owners, in terms of, the knowing your customer, put yourself in their shoes. Doing the work is, I think, a really interesting one as well, really getting stuck into it, doing what you need to let the business grow as well. So would you say that there's any other sort of bits of advice, for someone, say that they're in a position now where they're doing a wash and fold and they're not sure whether the pickup and delivery is for them. So for anyone here watching that is in this situation, listen up, because what do you think about that, Daniel?
Yeah, and I would say here's another one that I would add is, even when your orders, or the like the amount of orders that you have coming in, even when it's little, and it may seem like overkill to be using like the driver app and this and that and all these tools or whatever, use the tools as if you had 100 orders coming in, right? That right. I talked about that spa that we had, right? Like it was one order a day, like, right? Actually, it was one order every other day. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? And I was like using the driver app as if I had 100 orders, right? So, right, one order, click, go, right? Optimize route. Right. So that just kind of like gets you and your team kind of like really like ingrained in the tool that you're using, so that you fully understand it. You've clicked all the buttons. When you do this, what happens, right? So that's kind of another little tidbit that I would throw out there, is like, don't try to, you don't have to wait until you have 50 orders to utilize the tool in the way, right, in that way, right? Go ahead and plug it in and start using it,
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's really helpful, I think, for everyone listening. And then another question, sort of on a similar vein, it would be, for anyone who's offering pickup and delivery, but they're trying to get more out of their customers, how would you sort of pursue that?
Yeah. So the way that we're doing that, so one is we offering more services. I talked before about now we also offer dry cleaning, which we outsource, and so it was just about going out. Ooh, excuse me. It was about going out and finding a good partner, right? A good partner that would kind of, adhere to the same standards that we have to actually do it, and then offering that service, right? Just like we're picking up laundry, our vans are buzzing around, the area, every day, right? Twice a day, and so allowing our customers to kind of like skip that trip to the dry cleaner, just put your dry cleaner in with your laundry and we'll take care of it for you, right? So that is one of the reasons, or one of the ways that we have been able to kind of like expand our service offering to kind of like squeeze more juice out of those same customers. And then I would also say getting down to campaigns that push customers to have repeat pickups, right? So instead of, as your laundry basket fills, you place the order. What if, you just, right, put your laundry bag out every Monday, just like when you pull the trash out to the curb, right? And kind of making it that set it and forget it kind of thing, right? Because that results in more orders, that little bit, even if it's 5% more orders, that's 5% more orders than you would have had, and it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't, right? It's part of the software. The software does the work for you. So those automations to be able to do that. So yeah, that's kind of two little kind of nuggets I would say for trying to kind of squeeze more juice out of. Oh, here's another one. Just thought of it is with what we call like add-ons, right? So, you have your standard detergent, you have your standard, softener or whatever, right? If you want to, charge for, premium detergents or Tide or, what have you, or like extra scent boost, right? Some customers like the scent boost, right? And so, that's another, kind of area where you can kind of, again, it's about just squeezing a little bit more juice, right? Not being like sleazy and nickel and dimey with it, like squeeze a little more juice. Oh, I got another one. I thought of another one.
This is great. Keep going, Daniel. This is great. I don't even have to say anything.
Right. So another way that we've done it too is with the express option, right? And so what we used to do, maybe I say probably a year and a half ago, was the standard turnaround time for pickup and delivery orders was 24 hours. We implemented or kind of implemented a 48-hour. We moved to a 48-hour turnaround as standard, but you can get that 24-hour for an extra fee, right? And so that's all baked into the software. So we can set it to where, a next day is plus 10% or plus $5 or whatever you choose to set it to. Right. And so what happened is what that naturally did was it pushed a lot of our orders out to that second day. Right. Right. Most of them. And we didn't hear many complaints, right, about, oh, hey, I used to get 24. Right. Right. Push it out to the second day, which what that meant was that we were killing ourselves to knock everything out in 24 hours, where the customers would have been perfectly fine with getting their orders, 2 days from now. Right. And then again, the customers that do absolutely need it, they're going to pay up for that express, so those are kind of, 4 different ways to kind of get more juice out of the lemon.
Absolutely. Well, that's definitely like a super interesting take as well, because I guess it's that, now that you're doing this consulting, it's good that that's a sort of piece of advice that you can give to people is that you don't have to, all be killing yourselves, like working 13-hour days when, there is an option for you to, make sure everything's done in a timely fashion. But then if people need it faster, then they
Right.
can get it faster, but then
Mhm.
also they can pay
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
Awesome. So I think that for now, I think that we might move on to something of like a Q&A. So if anyone has any questions for Daniel, please start like putting them in the chat, and we can get started on answering some questions.
This P&D customers complain about prices. So we've received kind of very little kind of complaints, like as we do our like price increases. Obviously, like, some people drop off because the price is the thing, right? My thing is that pickup and delivery customer, if they understand the value of what we're doing, right, saving them 4 to 6 hours a week, right? If they understand the value, then they usually don't complain about the price, right? And so those customers that do complain about the price are usually not your target market, for pickup and delivery, right? So while it may hurt to kind of see them going away, understand that they most likely aren't your target market, so it's just about finding those people who understand the value and selling the value, and like all your marketing channels and the things that you do, making sure that you're selling that value. Hey, never do laundry again. Right. Everybody's least favorite chore, right? Scratch this off your to-do list, right? All those things, right, are selling value, the value of the service that you provide. And so if, like, I guess I heard somebody say, like, if we're talking about price, then we're not talking about value,
Yeah.
so make sure you kind of still.
That's a really good point. And then Connor has just said, he's just asked, what were your primary tools for marketing when you first started up?
Yep. Primary tools, website, Google AdWords. I don't know if that's even still around. Maybe it is. I don't know. But Google Ads, Google pay-per-click, and our website were the main tools.
Awesome. And then Kathleen has said, did you use marketing through CleanCloud, text messaging, or emails?
I think I do have an automated campaign that's set up through one or two automated campaigns set up through the CleanCloud marketing channels. And it's kind of around people who sign up and don't place an order, getting, kind of shooting them a tickler message to say, hey, 15% off your first order with this promo code, that sort of thing, to just kind of like a way to, again, just move the needle just a little bit in terms of orders placed that can be done in an automated fashion that really doesn't cost me anything. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then for anyone whose questions I've missed, I will be able to put on screen later that, Daniel is always open to chat with anyone about pickup and delivery. So he'll be able to answer any questions at a later date. But for now, I've got a question from Michael. So how do you compensate your drivers, like by the hour or per pickup?
Yeah, that's a good one. So the way that we do it, and the way that I did it from the beginning, was I pay them per shift for the shift, right? And so this was maybe a little painful for me in the beginning, right? I guess I'll back up a bit. So what I mean by pay by the shift is that 8 to 12 window, 8 a.m. to 12 noon window to 4 hours. I would pay them for that 4 hours, regardless of how many stops they did, right? So in the early days when it was 4 stops and 8 stops or whatever, right? They were kind of making out to where they can finish their route in an hour and go home, right? I just knew that, I wouldn't be able to attract, drivers to say, oh, hey, actually, once you finish, I'm only paying you for the hours that you actually worked, right? And so, right, so one of two things would have happened, right? They would have sandbagged it and spent 4 hours to deliver 4 orders, right?
Yeah.
Which to me, like is like not the best customer experience. Like I want again, starting from the customer's perspective, you have an 8 to 12 window, and your order was delivered before 9. that's a good customer experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if my driver is sandbagging and taking his time so that he can get paid, right? I'm still paying the 4 hours, right? But the customer's experience isn't as good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning, I pay for the entire shift. And so it was just, and then it's my job, on the marketing and sales side to make sure that I fill up their routes, you know?
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And then one from Carol Keller. So, which part of the software brought you the most value? Ordering process or marketing tools or something else?
So I would say like the online ordering, being it that way. I've seen kind of like, some competitors of mine that kind of have like a form fill as their order form for their pickup and delivery. And like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think like in this day and age, this is just my right, my thought or whatever, right, is that like people don't want to do a form fill and get an email back and whatever, right? They're used to Amazon and DoorDash and being able to type in, click what they want and submit the order, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I would say like that was a big part of it, right? And then the thing is that even with those form fills, I mean, today maybe it's a little bit different with like kind of like the automations and kind of being able to do things with automations, but like then I would have to receive that contact form, create the order, and then which is
Mm-hmm.
more of my time versus if they can just go in and schedule it themselves, I don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always have to say that, 6 clicks or less is like the dream, right? You don't want
Yep.
you want it to be as easy as possible. I know I'm guilty of, as you just said, if you have a long form to fill in, you're like, oh, I'll do it later. And then that's like a customer gone.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, yeah, make it as easy as possible is definitely going to help. And so, I mean, one for me more really, actually. So you've mentioned utilizing the website a lot. Are you utilizing the customer app as well at this stage?
Yes, yeah. So we have the CleanCloud app.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited to I won't say bite the bullet, but we'll be excited to move over to the custom app.
Mm-hmm.
We have plans to do that this year. Maybe you can say that's one of our goals for pickup and delivery this year.
Hey, there we go. I knew, I
Right?
knew it would come out. It would come
There
out.
we go. There we go. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So you're using the sort of the CleanCloud app at the moment. Do you see that, more people show interest in that, or do you think that more people use the website?
It's a mix, I would say. So, again, thinking through the customer's journey and such, right, is I think that first folks are using the website, the web booking tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like less friction as well, right? Like I actually don't push, and even when we have the app, I probably won't push straight away the app, right?
Right.
I want to first push the order, right? Create an account, create the order. Now we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about app for future orders and all that thing or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how I see it, as like a lot less friction.
Mm-hmm.
Right, where it's like, oh, right, I'm on your website, and you want me to then click off your website to go download the app, and then I gotta sign it, right? It's like, no, just stay on the website. You're on the website, create that account, create that order. Now I'll show you, oh, hey, next time you can download the app, right? And so we do see people kind of picking up on the kind of like second and future orders, tapping in and downloading that app and utilizing it, because it kind of, then what the app kind of serves for me is, what I'm thinking is that like it serves as a good portal. Right now your
Mm-hmm.
app has real estate on their screen, hopefully, right, on their home screen, right? So they have that
Mm-hmm.
direct portal. Click that. They don't have to figure out what's the website again. Columbia Pike
Mm-hmm.
Laundry. It's that real estate on their site. Click that. Now I can create my order that I already have the account for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's all about, again, as you were saying, putting yourself in the customer's shoes. How would you, if you were a customer, how would you want to respond? Like, as you said, everyone nowadays is always on their phone, myself included,
Right. Right.
we all always are. So it's like having that space that you're owning on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. So I think that we have time for, let's say, a couple more questions. So Chris has asked for, Kristen, I believe that we work together actually. Nice to see you there. Asking if you have any advice for sort of a pickup and delivery starting from maybe not from like a laundromat, maybe from home. So like an overview, for example.
Yeah. So what I would say there is obviously doable, and again goes to that mantra that I said earlier of like, do what you can to buy yourself some time to allow the service to build up. I'll say that the limitation of it or the drawback of it is that you'll be limited on the amount of orders that you can do, with one washer and one dryer, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it a 30-minute wash cycle, 30-minute dry cycle, right? You can only do right and maybe 25 pounds right per hour essentially. Even if you want to work 8 hours, let's call it, right? You'll probably hit that limit quickly. But again, it gives you time. You can build it up and see. And then the thing too is that you could then, as you do see that you have the volume coming in, you can then start to do it at a laundromat, right? Like right as a start, right? Or as a progression. It'll cost you a little bit more. Maybe you have to raise your prices to compensate for the extra cost of going to a coin op laundromat, right? But then again, now we're doing those stepping stones to kind of getting you to where, oh hey, actually I got 1,000 pounds a day. Now I need it right? Consistently. Now I actually need to go right build or buy my own facility.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I mean, that is, definitely very helpful. And, it's very exciting. Lots of people are wanting to join the industry as well and get involved in laundry. So, very exciting for, yourself, Daniel, who's going to be hopefully helping out a lot of people as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so just going on to this. So I think that we're approaching, the end of our webinar really. So yeah, I would just like
so soon. No.
I know, honestly, it's just, I don't think that we've had one moment without talking as well. So it's perfect. But yeah, so I suppose like just to say thank you to everyone for attending. So, for anyone who's not a customer of CleanCloud already, then feel free to, reach out to, myself. So my email's on screen now. Or if you're a current customer looking into pickup and delivery, feel free to reach out to our account management team there. And, Daniel's information is on screen as well. So, a chief laundry officer. So if you want to get some great advice from, one of the best in the industry, if not the best, then yeah, feel free to get this information. And just to answer to S, yes, so this is all being recorded and will be posted on our resources page too, alongside our pick and delivery ebook and various other customer stories. If you want to hear anything more, about Daniel, who's got a great blog who I tell lots of people about all the time, and lots of our other customers as well. But yeah, so any final words, Daniel?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I love talking this stuff. I really do. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of get out here and, kind of spread some value.
Absolutely. No, it's been an absolute treat to have you on today, and hopefully we'll get to do another webinar together soon.
Absolutely. Open
Amazing.
book. Let's do it.
Well, thank you everyone so much for joining the webinar. It's been, great to speak with you, Daniel. And yeah, keep an eye out for the recording being posted as well and any resources.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Bye.